And as well, we have a pool of over 260 subject matter experts in our partnership resource team pool. These are all individuals within the community college system. And just wanted to highlight a couple of things related to the professional development aspects. We began this initiative about a year ago. To date, we've had over 2,100 attendees at various workshops throughout the state. Student Success Redefined, Enrollment Management, Diversity in Hiring, an Inmate Education Summit, and an Integrated Planning. Again, this is a tremendous amount of change and technical assistance that we're providing within a very short period of time, and we have plans to do much, much more. And with that.
Well, good morning, Madam Chair, members. I'm Paul Steenhausen. I'm the Executive Director of the Success Center for California Community Colleges, which is part of the Institutional Effectiveness Partnership Initiative with a particular focus on the professional development component. So I'm going to talk more about that. So the Success Center was launched in August 2014 with seed monies from the Kresge Foundation, which is a nonprofit based in Michigan. The Success Center is housed in the Foundation for California Community Colleges, which is the official auxiliary to the State Board of Governors. And as Executive Director, I'm a member of the Institutional Effectiveness Partnership Executive Committee and help to head up the professional development component of that initiative. When the Chancellor's Office and the Foundation applied to Kresge for the grant, the application talked a lot about the need for additional help with implementing those Student Success Task Force recommendations, the Student Success Initiative, with a particular focus on recommendation 6.1 from the task force, professional development. And that's providing the knowledge, the skills, and resources to community college personnel so that they can deliver outstanding educational programs and results to students. So that's really been a focus of the Success Center since inception. A big project we've been working on with a number of system partners is the development of a professional learning network. Professional Learning Network is designed to be a one-stop site of effective practices, trainings, and other resources for faculty, staff, administrators, and trustees. Actually, the idea of the Professional Learning Network came from the Student Success Task Force, which had a recommendation on creating a focused, sustained, strong continuum of professional learning opportunities for community colleges, and really implored the Chancellor's Office to explore the use of technology, such as the internet, as one of the ways in which to deliver that professional development. The system has a lot of great material. Right now, it's scattered on many different websites in many different places. Along the same lines, you have campuses that run many effective programs, but oftentimes the other campuses, the other colleagues don't know about the program very well. Might have heard of it, but don't really know the details, how it happened, and might not even know the contact people, how to learn more. And so the idea of the Professional Learning Network, the whole purpose, is to facilitate the spreading of best practices, to facilitate ongoing communication, collaboration, conversation throughout the system. So right now, we're testing the portal for compliance with accessibility guidelines, and they're going to make some adjustments based on that testing, those results. So the portal is scheduled for official launch in spring 2016. It's going to be open to everybody, including those in other states that want to learn about California, or if we want to incorporate material from other states into that portal. It's going to serve as a central repository or library for all of these initiatives you've heard about, as well as other initiatives going on throughout the state. So there's one place that faculty, staff, and administrators and trustees can go to learn more. Now, we recognize that on its own, the Professional Learning Network, this online clearinghouse, isn't going to be enough. You can't just put out a website and say, there's a solution. To be really effective, this portal has to be and will be tightly integrated into all the on-ground, all the face-to-face convenings that go on throughout the state through institutional effectiveness, through these and other initiatives, and other events and convenings that go on throughout the state. And I'll just mention that ongoing funding is provided by the Institutional Effectiveness Initiative to support this portal, to support site administration, to make sure the material is kept up to date and it's highly searchable, and also to make sure that the field knows about how to optimize the portal's use. Wanted to mention one final thing. Teresa, Ms. Tenna just mentioned the regional workshops, and something that we're excited about, it's coming up, are a series of workshops related to the Basic Skills Transformation Grants. Now recall the legislature in the enacted budget package provided $60 million in one-time money for colleges to adopt 2 or more evidence-based practices that they want to incorporate into their policies, into their practices. And so to help colleges design a thoughtful funding application, the Chancellor's Office, Institutional Effectiveness, are sponsoring 4 workshops that colleges are invited to come to in teams, where they're going to learn about all of these evidence-based strategies that their peers are currently operating. And then it's an opportunity for the teams at the end of the day to get back together and talk about what they want to put in their funding application. So it's an example of Institutional Effectiveness Success Center working together to provide support to the field on statewide priorities.
I just wanted to also note that you have in your materials information on the Common Assessment Initiative, the Ed Planning Initiative, and we spent a lot of time this morning talking about these technology initiatives within our system. Another initiative you have materials on is the Online Ed Initiative. And while it was not born of the Student Success Task Force, it was certainly it came about during a time when there was a burgeoning interest in the role that technology can play in delivering education. And the evolution of that certainly coincided with the recent developments in our technology initiatives. The goals of which are to provide access for students to quality online courses and degree programs. There is a course exchange which is targeted to be available in the fall of 2016 for 8 pilot colleges, and so that's certainly down a couple of months away. We look forward to having more conversations and sharing how that another initiative is also unfolding.
Okay, you guys are very busy. Questions from members? Senator Pan.
Thank you so much for your presentations. Certainly a lot of activity going on at the system-wide level to address the needs of our students. I just had a question. I don't know whether this is at the system-wide or you're looking more at the individual campuses. So we have this wonderful diagram here, I think, that sort of talks about the different programs, and you've walked in. In terms of the educational planning initiative, one of the things that was presented was that you want it to be nurtured, sort of this high-touch aspect. And I heard a lot of great technology and so forth. So sort of on the individual level, we're trying to empower students with more information and standardize things across in terms of assessments and so forth. But we also know that, I was a pre-med advisor for a college, that a lot of times students need guidance, right? And they need, and so forth, from people who know, for example, I want to be whatever, I want to go into whatever field, and sometimes what courses and so forth. And those are usually roles played by counselors or maybe perhaps some of the faculty. How does that fit into what you're doing? Is that something that the system's addressing in terms of do we have enough counselors to help provide guidance so that we can get people on the right path? Is that we're looking more just at a technological solution? But I mean, what about sort of this sort of advice and mentorship? And are we looking and have, as we've given more funds to the community college system, are people investing that in that kind of high touch, personalized connection? It's great for people to have more information. Maybe they can make some better decisions, but also often they need that one-on-one guidance to help them sort out what their career choices are, so forth, that direct.
I'll just kind of start off from a system perspective, and, there were some questions raised about the investment that was being occurring with the triple SP monies that were provided, and there's certainly a lot of information that we're going to be getting back from our colleges and districts, identifying exactly how those dollars were spent. But, there is an expectation that there will be counselor hiring, and so that's certainly one aspect, but I also wanted to turn it over to my colleagues over here on EPI just to talk a little bit about, where those dollars are being spent. And you'll hear about some of that as well from the other individuals that'll be testifying from a local perspective.
But just to clarify before we go, so is this something then because I know you're talking about system things and certainly interested in hearing the answer as well, but is that something you're sort of saying, okay, that's what each individual campus is addressing versus at the system, we're not dealing with that as a system-wide issue? I mean, well, I shouldn't say issue, but I mean, we're expecting each campus to address that issue in their individual campuses versus as a system-wide initiative.
Well, there's very overarching guidance in terms of the allowable uses for those resources. And so, there's been certainly a considerable amount of investment that's been provided by the state for that particular categorical program. But as well, there's a tremendous amount of unrestricted dollars that can also be provided to support those efforts.
Okay.
So I'll lead off. With regard to the local efforts, we find people like my colleague Jelly here, where there's local leadership at the colleges developing their own student success plans. So in the execution of those plans, sometimes it involves, going out and procuring software or tools or training or whatever. But in respect to the EPI program, we are bringing forward statewide tool sets that are available to everyone. In some cases, maybe colleges already have an education planning tool, but maybe there's something else, an enabling technology that we can also supply. So it is a statewide solution. It does adapt and accommodate local solutions depending on what folks might already have in their shop.
Okay.
I think I can speak as an elder in matriculation and now Student Success and Support Program Director, that the tools that are going to be available to our colleges are incredibly helpful and speak directly to the development of a student educational plan. We very rarely have enough counselors to be able to see our students individually. And with the tools that we're going to provide to the colleges, our counselors, our faculty, our advisors, our interested staff are going to be able to message our students directly and say, here's a little tag. By the way, did you know you were eligible for honors? By the way, did we'd be able to communicate with them at that local college in a way that we've never been able to before. So I'm very, very encouraged by the very practical applications. And I can assure you that the materials and the tools that are being developed on the Ed Planning Initiative have direct, practical application for all of the 3SP activities.
Well, I guess I would just say that certainly these tools are going to be very helpful to the people on the ground. I just want to be sure that, a couple of things. So one is certainly what investments are being made by campuses, I guess, in terms of counselors that, you still need that back to that personal touch thing, right? You can have a tool and that's going to help maybe maximize and so forth. And then I think, sort of related to that, do we have the right, we've always talked about having, we need a greater percentage of full-time faculty, right? People who can, if you're going to have people message and contact, you need people, not say a part-time faculty, but I mean, you need someone who has that relationship with the student, right? That's back to the high touch, my college cares. CARES is you able to have a longitudinal relationship with people. That's full-time faculty, that's counselors, et cetera. So being sure we have the human infrastructure, and I appreciate the investment in the technological infrastructure, but I hope that as a system, well, maybe it's a campus by campus approach in some ways, that we're collecting evaluation data and overall data on that, and how are people using the tools and so forth, so that we can, and hopefully we can identify best practices in different campuses and have them disseminated across the other ones. So I hope that at least as a system, we're collecting data and able to present that data and do the evaluation. I know some impressive data I've already seen from the chancellor, but to follow up on that as well. Thank you.
Can I make just 2 quick points? So one, there's a high student to counselor ratio and that'll probably persist. But certainly this doesn't replace a counselor. It absolutely, what it does, it creates a better conversation. You know, it provides information, allows the student to engage a little earlier, and to think about some things and come in prepared into that counseling session. So that's one. Number two, and we've learned this, I myself, I've really been inspired by what we're seeing from the online education business, the intimacy that's created between students and their teachers, surprisingly, through these use of these online tools. And so in a bricks and mortar setting where I've got students in a classroom with me, I can use these tools to improve the touch. You know, we see students sometimes texting each other. They're sitting right next to each other. But it's that type of thing where you have improved visibility, improved access, much more convenient, and maybe you're looking at some indicators to say, oh, this person needs a kudo, and prompt them down the way. So those are all the things that we're after, certainly at a statewide level.
Okay, Senator Block?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Tenna, we see a lot of data, and Chancellor Harris talked about data disaggregated by racial and ethnic groups, even subgroups within racial ethnic groups. Do we have data in terms of the success and effectiveness of what we're doing with our veterans and also with students who are being served by disabled student service providers?
We do have that data in terms of breaking down particular populations like that. I mean, I think as Chancellor Harris mentioned, I mean, we're now kind of going through and looking at, you know, what was just received from the prior year. And, you know, we're going through a very involved process in terms of making that available to the researchers and then making that, just ensure that information is correct. And then we're going to be distributing that more widely. But in terms of, you know, the specific, you know, populations, I mean, we also do reporting requirements for the legislature and various other activities. And so we will be able to identify, you know, those successes and those outcomes.
Yeah, I'd be curious, something like transfer rates, are our veterans transferring at as good or better a rate as the general student population? Are students being served by disabled student services finding the same success, or do we need to tweak those programs? I think that'll give us a lot of insight.
Foster kids.
Sure.
Foster kids. Are you guys, anyone, I guess, Teresa, are you feeling a tension between kind of more centralized authority as opposed to individual campuses coming, you know, accepting what's going on here? And you know, you're developing models. I know you come from individual campuses, but you're developing models for the whole system. Are you seeing any tension between what you're recommending or what you want to work for toward acceptance by individual campuses?
No, I would say that there's been a tremendous, I mean, embracing of these activities. I think, obviously, we're a big system. People
Right.
don't know about it yet. I mean, there's a lot of information that we're sharing here today that isn't as widely distributed or understood throughout our, I mean, huge system in terms of administrators, faculties, classified, and students. But I think there's a recognition that, you know, there were dollars previously, years ago, in our budget on a categorical line item for staff development, and they were line itemed a long time ago. But with the Student Success Task Force recommendations and the resources that are available that we're talking about now, I mean, there's a real thirst and a hunger for trying to connect all this. And, you know, that's one of the roles that we're playing, is trying to identify, you know, the areas to focus on and prioritize initially. But this is all being driven, and through the structure of the Institutional Effectiveness Advisory Committee, it's all being structured and put together with a great amount of input from associations and organizations and all our constituent groups.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for your work. Good to hear about it. So let's have the next panel up. It's about local perspectives. That name, that extra name. We have Sonia Mercado, the Dean of Student Services at Woodland Community College. Heidi Fuller, Basic Skills Coordinator at American River College. Francisco Rodriguez, Chancellor of the LA Community College District. And Michael Poindexter, Interim President, Vice President of Student Services at Sacramento City Colleges. Welcome, all of you and come join us at the table. Okay. Local perspectives. Let's start with Ms. Mercado, and let's see what's going on or how you feel about what's going on.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Sonia Ortiz Mercado, and I'm the Dean of Student Services at Woodland Community College. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you information about our college's implementation of the funding targeted to improve student success. Woodland Community College is one of the system's newer colleges, accredited in 2008 as California's 110th community college. We are a small, very diverse college serving the semi-rural and rural counties of Yolo, Colusa, and Lake. We have an annual student head count of more than 3,800 students and approximately 1,900 FTEs. We are a Hispanic-serving institution with a population of approximately 46% Latino students. More than 62% of our students are between the ages of 18 and 24. The state's investment in Student Success and Support Program and equity funding has played a critical role in helping the college build a foundation to increase student success. I think it's important to note that, like many colleges throughout the state, the recession significantly impacted the college. The infusion of SSSP and equity funding has helped the college rebuild and grow with a clear focus on improving student success. First, I'd like to highlight the important role our college's institution-wide planning efforts play to lay a foundation focused on student success across all areas of our campus. Our approach has been to rethink how we develop the college's education master plan. This plan provides the big picture framework for all of the college's planning efforts, resource allocation, facilities, and technology plans, all focused on the singular objective of improving student access and success. To ensure the college's resources and planning efforts focus on improving student success and meeting key metrics to improve access and completion, we are using Completion by Design, Student Pathway, and Momentum Points model as a framework. Using the Student Pathway framework, we are focusing our resources and efforts on the key areas of the student's progression to and through college, from connection before they apply, to entry as they complete key matriculation steps and gatekeeper courses, to progress as these students complete up to 75% of the program requirements, and on through to completion of their degrees, certificates, and transfer. This framework and focus on student success is informing our planning efforts at all levels, as well as processes including our annual program reviews and budget development. We have engaged our faculty, staff, and students in the development of our education master plan and sought input from members of the community, including businesses and K-12. By identifying key metrics, we plan to hold ourselves accountable and we'll share the progress we've made each year with our internal and external campus communities. This process is transforming the campus environment and engaging all faculty and staff and students in the process. I'd like to next highlight the difference student success funding has made to help our college build staff and faculty capacity. Through the state's investment in SSSP and student equity, we have been able to use funding in strategic and targeted ways to improve student access and success. Through SSSP and equity funding, we have been able to hire 11 new, much-needed staff. While this might not seem like a lot, for a small college like ours, it is significant. For example, our total staffing for the college, serving a student head count of 3,800 students, is 47. So when we hire 11 new people, that makes a huge dent. To help provide important education planning, we've hired a SSSP-funded general counselor for the Woodland campus and are in the process of hiring an SSSP equity-funded counselor for our Colusa center to help provide important education planning services to students as well as follow-up services to our academically at-risk students. To address Senator Pan's earlier question, our goal is to provide greater high-touch counseling and advising services and to take a more intrusive service delivery approach, meaning rather than waiting for students to come to us and make an appointment, we're going out and get them. Right? These new hires have increased the number of counselors at the Woodland campus to 7 and lowered our counselor-to-student ratio to 1 to 800. This is not including those counselors who are categorically funded in our programs like EOPS, CARE, CalWORKS, and DSPS. We've also been able to hire additional adjunct counselors to meet student demand during peak periods. To further engage students and reach out to our high schools as we address issues of access, we've hired 2 student engagement and outreach specialists for the Woodland, Colusa, and Lake County campuses to work with our area high schools and to assist graduating seniors to matriculate to the college, and to support efforts to engage students on campus through a myriad of activities designed to provide just-in-time services and information during key points along the student's pathway. We've also hired an evaluator for our admissions and records office to help evaluate student transcripts and other key activities such as the evaluations of applications for graduation, to expand our ability to assist students to identify their educational goals and programs of studies. We have budgeted funding this year to hire a transfer and career specialist. With student equity funding, we've been able to hire math and English instructional assistants to help tutor students through our math, reading, and writing tutoring centers. As we move forward with our plans to develop a Student Success Center, creating a one-stop shop for all of our tutoring services, we've hired positions to help coordinate these functions and to support our campus's institutional research efforts for the ongoing evaluation of student outcomes and assessment of our progress in meeting important milestones and metrics. In addition to hiring staff and faculty, we have been able to use funds to build capacity by providing opportunities for professional development. Funds have helped bring trainers to campus to teach staff and faculty about supplemental instruction techniques, instructional design, first-year experience, and other proven and promising strategies. We've been able to send our faculty and staff to conferences to learn about what other campuses are doing and about the latest research and trends. Through these professional development opportunities, faculty and staff have brought back innovative ideas to improve student success in and outside of the classroom. The enthusiasm about new approaches to the delivery of student services and instruction has helped build momentum across all levels of our campus. And third, the infusion of student success funding has helped us implement a variety of programs, services, and initiatives to improve student access and success. For example, we've been working with our high school partners to develop and implement a dual enrollment pathway program of a sequence of courses in the 9th through 12th grades that will enable students to earn college credit while in high school, earning a CTE certificate and helping the student finish a degree much more quickly. This will hopefully increase our access of students coming into the college, but also improve the students' self-efficacy. For many first-generation students, the ability to see themselves as a college student begins early. We are looking at promising models for summer bridge programs at colleges around the state. We are launching math and English camps during the summer to provide entering high school graduates with an opportunity to improve their math and writing skills so that they can reassess and place into a higher level when they begin with us in the fall. Based on the successful outcomes small cohort-style learning communities have demonstrated at colleges throughout the state, we are launching our first-year experience program this fall, linking key basic skills, math, and English courses with student success courses. Peer mentoring and tutoring through a supplemental instruction type approach will help provide our students with a sense of connection to our faculty, staff, and their peers, providing our students with a solid foundation for success. Other strategies we've implemented or are in the process of implementing include online interactive orientations, our online ed plans, early alert to identify and support our academically at-risk students, and our student ambassadors program to provide peer-to-peer support. Earlier in the presentations, when they talked about the variety of technology tools that are becoming available in the state, I can tell you those will only help and enhance our ability to serve students. In the counseling, when you think about our counseling appointments, our sessions are 30 minutes with each student. That's very little time really to meet with a student, but when you think about the availability of the education planning tools that are available, it'll enhance that experience, help the counselor focus the conversation with the student, and more importantly, when the student leaves that counseling session, they will be able to have access to those resources online, right? So unlike my son, when he brings home stuff from school and he leaves it at the bottom of his backpack, the student will be able to retrieve their online ed plan and see how well they're making progress towards their degree. The state's investment of student success funding in the California community colleges has played a pivotal role in helping to transform our college. While the process to build the infrastructure through staffing and training and the development and implementation of innovative and promising strategies takes time, we are confident that the college's focus on student success at all levels of the campus and through our institution-wide planning efforts will result in significantly improved outcomes for our students. Thank you for the opportunity to present before you today. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.